Veterans Day ceremony. Today we come together to honor and thank all those who have served in our Army forces, standing as protectors of our freedom and security. We are deeply grateful for their sacrifices and their commitment to our country.
We gather to offer our love and thanks for the unbroken line of men and women who have given service to their country. America's armed forces have always been prepared to defend our freedom and the freedom of others throughout the world. Please rise for the raising of our flag and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance and the singing of our national anthem.
Please join us in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please join the 6th grade to help us sing our national anthem.
Please sit. More than 1 million American service members died in the service of this country. More than 1.4 million lived with the wounds they suffered while fighting for us. And more than 25 million former service members are still living today. They are that special group of Americans we call veterans. Today, we honor them and say thank you for your service.
During the early days of the Second Battle of Ypres, a young Canadian artillery officer, Lieutenant Alexis Helmer, was killed on May 2, 1915 in the gun positions near Ypres. An exploding German artillery shell landed near him. He was serving in the same Canadian artillery unit as a friend of his, the Canadian military doctor and artillery commander, Major John McCrae.
As the brigade doctor, John McCrae, was asked to conduct the burial service for Alexis because the chaplain had been called away somewhere else on duty that evening. It is believed that later that evening, after the burial, John began the draft for his now famous poem, In Flanders Fields.
In Flanders Fields, by John McCrae, May 1915. In Flanders Fields, the poppies blow between the houses, row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky the larks, still bravely singing,
The Army, Navy, Marines, Coast Guard, and Air Force make up the armed forces of the United States. We would like to tell you a little bit about each one, and then we will play the official song from each branch of the armed forces. Visitors, if you represent the Marines, we'd like for you to stand.
Marines are called soldiers of the sea. The Marines are specifically trained for service on the sea, land, and air. Marines have been the first to fight in almost every major war in the United States.
They are sometimes called leathernecks because in the early days they wore leather bands around their throats. The motto of the Marine Corps is Semper Fidelis, which means always faithful.
Thank you, Marines. Next, we would like to honor our Navy veterans, so please stand if you were in the Navy.
The Navy is the branch of the armed forces that has command of the sea. Navy ships carry food and medical supplies to disaster areas. During war, the Navy fights the enemy at sea, on it, under it, and above it.
Submarines that carry missiles can travel around the world underwater. Anchors Aweigh is the Navy's famous marching song. Blue and gold are the official colors of the Navy.
Thank you, Navy veterans. Those who were in the Coast Guard, please stand.
Until the Navy was established, the Coast Guard was the defender of our seas. The Coast Guard was created in 1790. Today, the Coast Guard operates as part of the Department of Homeland Security. The Coast Guard song is Semper Paratus, meaning always ready.
Thank you, Coast Guard veterans. Visitors, if you were enlisted in the Air Force, please stand.
The Air Force is the youngest branch of the armed forces. The Air Force includes helicopters, bombers, fighters, and planes. One mission of the Air Force is to take pictures of military activities in other countries. The colors of the Air Force are blue and yellow.
Thank you, Air Force veterans. Finally, if you are a veteran of the Army, please stand now.
The Army is the oldest branch of armed forces in the United States. The soldiers trained to fight on land. The Army is made up of ground troops, tanks, helicopters, personal carriers, and missiles. In addition to defending our country during wartime, the Army helps in disasters such as floods, forest fires, and storms. The Army's motto is, "This will defend." The official song is, "The Army Goes Rolling Along."
We're the Army.
reflect on the service of our veterans, I'd like to share a brief reading to remind us of the values veterans uphold: courage, commitment, and selflessness. It is the veteran who ensures our freedom, who stands as a shield for our liberties, who has given of themselves to protect this nation and its people. Let us honor their sacrifices, not just in words, but in actions each day, by upholding the values they fought for.
I do not know your name, nor for which battle you died. I do not know your home, nor the tears that were cried.
I do not know where you rest, nor the promises broken.
I do not know your uniform, and your fiercely unspoken.
But I know your spirit exists, that your courage is admired,
And your sacrifice is honored.
by each soul that's inspired.
And I offer you from my heart, thank you to Guardians Unknown for offering yourselves for all of us.
that we may keep freedom our home. Bless you.
It's always an honor for me to be up here to introduce those of you who are joining us today and who have given the sacrifice to continue to protect us as others before you have protected us. So as I read your name and introduce you, would you please come forward and receive a small token of our appreciation for all you have done for our country. Dennis Sievers, member of the Army. He served in the Vietnam War. And we'll just have you stay up here because we'd love to get a picture of all of you together. Frankie Zeller. He served in Afghanistan. Wendell Conrad, a member of the United States Army. He served in Vietnam. Dean Imthern, United States Army. He too served in Vietnam. Karen Van Vliet, United States Army. Josh Gadd, United States Army, served in Afghanistan. Ricky Williams, United States Army, served in Afghanistan and Iraq. Savannah Killow, United States Army, served in Afghanistan and Iraq. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your service to our country and for those that you love. Let's give them another round of applause.
Corporal Ricky Williams grew up in Virginia and entered the United States Army right after high school. His first career path in military was in communications. Corporal Williams fought in the Desert Shield and Desert Storm, and left the Army nearly 10 years of service. He chose later to re-enter the Army and was deployed for combat in Kosovo, Iraq, and Afghanistan. When he finally finished his time in the military, he was working in military intelligence. In 2016, Corporal Williams entered the law enforcement. He is married and has 6 children and grandchildren. He is happy to be here with us, and we are happy to have him here today. Please join me in welcoming Corporal Williams.
to be here. And it's a privilege and an honor and a great reminder of the past, the present, and the future. I look at these young people and I'm reminded again this week of the good that is in our great country. Does everybody agree with that? We live in the greatest country in the world. I believe that. And these young people, they're being taught to remember the past, be involved in the present, and they are the future. You know, I've seen some of these young people, and I run into them in the communities. I don't see any that I've had professional interaction with. Okay? But you know, I was also reminded on the way here, my greatest job is to serve the citizens of Wabunsee County. And I was running late because there was a lady that was broken down. I'm not going to leave her stranded there, right? How many of you husbands will get irritated that the cop drives by and they don't even stop to help your wife, right? Anybody get angry about that? You know, you can participate. You don't have to not say anything or smile. We're celebrating Veterans Day. That is a great thing. I look around at all the veterans, and it is amazing the sacrifices that they've made and still continue to make. You know, I've got a question for the students. How many of you have your thinking caps on? Yeah, I agree. Okay. There is a difference between Veterans Day and Memorial Day. Do any of you know the difference? Okay. And I was hoping to call it a girl because we always let girls go first, right? Isn't that being polite? Okay. In the blue Puma sweatshirt. Hey, go ahead and stand up so you can be heard.
Memorial Day is for veterans that have already died. And Veterans Day is for all current and past veterans.
Okay, very good. Everybody agree? But you know, getting back to the subject of the young people we have before us, I'm glad to see that they're being taught correctly. You know what the flag is. I don't think I would ever see any of you young people trampling the flag or burning it. Is it okay? What's your name right here in the front? You made a big old frown right here. What's your name? Okay, go ahead and stand up for a moment. Oh, she's turning red now. All right. Why did you make such a, I can't think of another word, ugly looking face? That's a breath of fresh air. Give her a round of applause. All right. Mexico, Wabunsee County, Kansas. We have young people that make faces when they hear about the flag being burned or trampled. When I say trampled, I mean stepped on. You know, right? We have young people that are being taught correctly. We need to be grateful for that. And I believe it's also due, in large part, how many of you are parents? Raise your hand. How many of you have little ones out? Well, they're not that little, but how many of you have little babies out here? All right, let's give them a round of applause. Because parents are what's going to hold the line. Far too often in law enforcement, I've learned, if the parents are absent, the ones that pay the price is the children. You know, I have tremendous powers as a certified sworn law enforcement officer, and I don't do my job haphazard. I don't just go through the motions, I don't fake the funk, or anything like that. My heart is truly in everything I do. And it's because of you folks. And I thank you for allowing me to be here and have 5 minutes of your lives, and some of you are like, great, it's over. Lest we forget, please, do not forget. We've had stark reminders recently that it's not all doom and gloom in the world. It's not all bad. Everybody, there's a small portion that's lost their ever-loving mind. But I am reminded every day in Wabunsee County that we love America. Correct? Yeah. God bless America. Thank you for letting me be here.
You may be seated. In closing today, on behalf of the students and staff of Muncie Junior High, we would like to say thank you. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for allowing us to honor you. Thank you for your service. And thank you for the sacrifices you made to protect the very freedoms that we all enjoy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This concludes today's ceremony. Please stop out in the lobby. We have refreshments in the lobby on your way out. Thank you again. Have a great day.